Bros love reality TV. Have you ever noticed your boyfriend or husband in the background while you're trying to wind down and enjoy The Housewives?
They linger in the back of the room and ask questions, offer their opinions, but when you ask them to take a seat and watch with you, suddenly they're not interested.
Well, here at Bros and Shows, we are tired of perpetuating that dudes don't love reality TV. Because guess what? We do. And it's time we erase the stigma that comes with it.
And we cover it all, from Real Housewives to The Bachelor, from Vanderpump Rules to The Traitors, and we're ready to give you our takes.
Bros and Shows, a podcast from the bros for everyone, for whoever wants to listen.
Can you change your personality? How does peer pressure work? Should you ever really trust your gut? These are just a few of the topics we've recently tackled on my podcast, Something You Should Know. It's a podcast where leading experts give you valuable intel that you can use in your life today. I'm the host, Mike Carruthers, and with over 1,000 episodes and over 4,000 mostly 5-star reviews, I invite you to check out Something You Should Know wherever you listen.
Hello, I am Kristen Russo.
And I am Jenny Owen Youngs.
We are the hosts of Buffering the Vampire Slayer once more with spoilers, a rewatch podcast covering all 144 episodes of, you guessed it, Buffy the Vampire Slayer.
We are here to humbly invite you to join us for our 5th Buffy prom, which, if you can believe it, we are hosting at the actual Sunnydale High School. That's right. On April 4th and 5th, we will be descending upon the campus of Torrance High School, which was the filming location for Buffy's Sunnydale High, to dance the night away to 90s music in the iconic courtyard, to sip on punch right next to the Sunnydale High fountain, and to nerd out together in our prom best inside of the set of Buffy the Vampire Slayer.
All information and tickets can be found at bufferingcast.com/prom. Come join us.
Are we rolling?
We're rolling. Are you familiar with that song?
Rolling, right.
Nope. Rolling. It's Limp Bizkit.
No. No. I thought Limp Bizkit and Simple Plan were the same thing for years.
They're not even.
No, I said that to Mott's. I was like, is Limp Bizkit not like a good Charlotte? And he was like, literally not at all. And I was like, could have fooled me. Is Linkin Park a band or is that just the OPI color?
No, Linkin Park is a band.
Okay.
You don't remember? It starts with one thing. I don't know why. It doesn't even matter how hard you try.
So I think I
Keep
thought
that in mind.
They were the same thing as Limp Bizkit. I
And
thought
then
maybe that's what the fans called like Linkin Park. They're like, that's my Limp
No.
Bizkit.
No, Limp Bizkit was around before Linkin Park.
Okay. And they're like they're intense, right?
Yeah, Fred Durst.
Robert Durst?
Nope, Fred Durst.
Okay. Robert Durst is a serial killer, right?
Yes.
Okay. Awesome. Not related?
Yeah.
Okay, well, I don't know. They
Yeah.
could be related.
As far as I know, they're not.
That would suck.
Limp Bizkit was the first mature. What do they call it? The CDs when they had
Mature rating?
Yeah, mature rating CD that I ever bought. And it wasn't because I particularly liked them. It was just the fact that I could buy. So I
How
was
old do you
in.
have to be?
I was in Canada, so they didn't.
Oh.
They didn't.
A rebel, eh?
Yes, and so they didn't. You could just buy it, and so I just wanted to buy it, and then I took it home and hid it.
Just to feel something. That's crazy. Okay. Did you listen to it?
Yeah, I know their music, but like I wasn't a fan.
No, but like, did that make you a fan?
No,
But you have fond memories.
I have fond memories. They were always on TRL. You missed the golden era of TRL.
Yeah, I think I know some stuff about TRL.
Yeah, it was incredible. Just
Josie and the Pussycats.
imagine you go home from school,
Mm-hmm.
you turn on the TV, and you've got the top 10 hottest songs that are in the country right now. And you can also participate by calling and voting.
I love a call-in.
And it's recorded live. So you're seeing it live as they're airing it. And like all the celebrities are there. Destiny's Child, Britney,
Yeah.
NSYNC. Like they're always there. And
And if
It's
you live
just
in
a
New
good
York,
time.
you can like get tickets, right?
You could get tickets, and then also you could like
oh,
stand
yeah.
outside, and then everybody's yelling,
The
and then
only
they tried to bring it back, and it didn't work because they didn't use the same formula.
I think I went on the one that was brought back.
I'm sure you did.
I think me and Crucci went on together. I think I was on TRL.
You were.
Oh my God, crazy. Put
You
that in my
were.
fun fact drawer. Well, anyways, this is Don't Blame Me, where we give you wonderful, amazing, life-changing advice that will change your life. So you can call into the podcast. You can leave us a voicemail. You can also send us a audio message in our email. You could just type out an email. You could slide into our DMs, write it out. You could fill out a form. There are so many different ways. For all of the above, you have to be 18 or over or have your parents' permission. We do ask that you include your age, not just that you're over 18. Tell us how old you are because it does affect the advice that we give you.
It matters. It matters. You matter too.
Sometimes, and your problems do, unless they don't. And then we're here to tell you, don't stress too much about it. So please keep it under 300 words if you are writing it down, and keep it under 3 minutes if you are recording it. And tell us the whole truth and nothing but the truth. So help you. What's Barbara say? And the grown one too.
Oh.
What's the first part?
Is it Sweet Baby
Jesus
Jesus and the grown one too? Yep.
Help you. That's yeah.
Mhm.
Imagine that flowed perfectly, seamlessly.
Did you watch
No.
last week?
No, but
You
I've
didn't
been
watch
seeing it on
last
Reddit,
week?
and I am.
It pissed.
I know, and so I
me
wanted to stack at
off.
least a couple of episodes because I saw people were mad.
I was pissed.
Are you feeling better after this week?
I haven't watched it yet.
Okay, so I'm holding off. Tell me how you feel, because I've been holding off watching last week's because everyone was so pissed. I was like,
It was such a good episode.
and then at the end, that's what I heard. That's what I heard. I am up to date, but I said I'm gonna hold back on that. I can't be in this stressful state with y'all. Okay, well, we'll see. Yeah, tell us the problem going on in your life. We'll do our very best to help you solve it.
You got a problem? We'll solve it. Kicking ice, baby.
No. And we're Meghan and Melisa.
I'm feeling very musical today.
Yes, she is. Is it because I said Millie Bobby Brown did a rendition of Grease at a wedding? Melissa said, love that, taking notes.
I have to do this.
She does. You're a performer.
Go Grease. What a good song.
The phone number to leave a voicemail is 310-694-0976. And the email address, meghanpodcast@gmail.com. And then our Instagram is just our Instagram. And then the form is put on our story.
Did you say our Instagram though?
By Meghan and Melisa.
Nope.
Meghan and Melisa.
Mm-hmm.
Our Instagram is just Meghan and Melisa. And there you will also find you can click the link in the bio and you'll get taken to the form, or once a week you can stay up to date with our stories where Melissa makes something so eerily unsettling to remind you of the form.
This one really,
the Mr. Bean edition.
This week I felt, well, I had Mr. Bean on one and then Pee-wee on the other. Two different entities.
Oh, I think I just saw a pointy brunette man. They're a similar type.
One's British, one's American, but they're the same.
Oh, I forgot one was British.
Mm-hmm. Mr. Bean's British.
He is.
Pee-wee is American. But I wanted to give, the same vibes. And before we get into these, just a reminder, be cognizant of where you're writing into. If you're asking for advice, then this is the place. If you're asking if you're wrong, write into But Am I Wrong?
And if you're coming because you saw us on Apple Podcasts featured, we have more than one podcast. And that's why their tweet was so lovely, because it felt so personal.
It was so personal.
It was. And we appreciate it. Whoever you are, please come to the front so we can thank you.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, we have multiple podcasts. And this is the one where we give advice.
Yes. All right. Here we go. This is somebody that is a 23, she, her, hers. This one is more into your realm of expertise.
Okay.
Overcoming my fear of the internet.
That's a scary fucking place.
Hi, Eminem, longtime listener, first time advice seeker. I have dreamed of being in social media world since I was about 13 years old. I have finally decided that it's something I'd like to pursue this year. I am in the process of going back to nursing school, so I feel like it might be a good hobby outside of school. My goal isn't to become super famous. I want to be like those niche influencers. I have always been kind of shy and I'm having a hard time taking the first steps. I know you guys have been part of the social media world for a while. How do you recommend I get started? What platform do you think I should start with? Is this even worth pursuing? I'm a Capricorn, by the way. Love the pod.
It's very Capricorn energy. With love. You're doing a lot. I would say nursing school is, I don't know if that is the time to pick up a hobby where you feel responsible.
I see a lot of nursing students
Me
on TikTok.
too, but I also don't know if their goal is like me. You saw I was a college student. My goal
you were
was
in high school.
I was, but like I was doing it in college, all the while knowing I'm about to fucking drop out of this bitch. Like I'm cranking these videos out because I need to save the money so I can leave. Like, I don't know if people are using it as like a means to not have to finish nursing school or whatever. Because like, to me, I'm like, time commitment wise, like that's a fucking lot, but people do enjoy watching it. I will say corporate and or quote unquote regular job content creation has a limit because you either start one has to be prioritized at a certain point, and a lot of the time people who like were doing like corporate stuff and like be like day in my life, they drop out. Like a lot of law students did that too. Like they'll drop out because you're making a lot more money way quicker than you could have before. But I will say you do not have the same sort of upward trajectory and salary at all. Like I'm very well aware that there is a high likelihood I have made the most money I have ever going to make in a calendar year already. And like, I know that. That's why I invested that money. Like there's versus a job that has like the traditional path of like raises and advancements and title changes and all of that. So I don't think it's necessarily like a bad thing to do if like it is like a relaxing hobby for you. Editing is not always the most relaxing or mindless thing, especially like usually people love making the content or people love editing the content and they don't love making it. Like, so I would say that like, if you find it fun, totally, I'm only like being serious. You're a Capricorn. So like you can bite off more than you can chew and like really want to be the best at whatever you're doing and pursue. And even when you say like, I just want to be like a niche influencer, what does that mean? Do you think?
Like, where is it? I, for one, make one video a month on TikTok.
And last month you made like 2 videos.
Yeah, and none of them go together at all.
You have many interests.
And I just I'm not trying to like make a career out of it. Sometimes I have thoughts and I put them up, or like my cinnamon roll video that I made. I made another one for the chocolate ones. I've edited them. Haven't made the voice over for it. It's sitting there.
Yeah. It's certainly not as fucking hard as nursing school by any means. It's time consuming. And so like it's kind of mindless, but that's also part of the reason why it can be hard to motivate, because it's like you're just pressing fucking buttons and clicking whatever. I also do think that sometimes, not always, because I love Jen Hamilton, but like sometimes the nursing space, I guess to answer your first question, TikTok is a platform you should start with if
it's still around.
Yeah.
It's up on the docket again.
If you're interested in growing an audience, TikTok is where you should start. If you're looking to have people who find you, in general, if you're looking to do this for a long time, you should start YouTube, without a doubt.
Yeah, because that's not going anywhere.
No, and if you like filmmaking, do YouTube. Like you're just, people have longer attention spans, and like people will cast their TV. Like I have friends who exclusively watch YouTube on their TV. Like you can have more creativity, like filmmaking aspects with it. And you're not as limited. And if you want to pursue it again for a long time, do both, without a doubt. But I would say, like, I would advise against, or not advise against, I would be really wary about how you incorporate your being in nursing school into your content, because there is, again, not all, love Jen Hamilton, there is a sect of nursing and nursing students on TikTok, even medical students, and it's like really not.
I do like
comfy.
This one person. I think she's like a X-ray tech or something, and she makes these very funny videos where she misconstrues what the person is saying, giving her an order for, but they're not actually giving her an order. And then it's that voice that TikTok sound that's like, oh, all right. All right.
And she's not making fun of patients.
And she's not making fun of patients.
Yeah.
She's just taking orders the wrong
Yeah.
way. Like doing a dance instead of what exactly she's supposed to be doing. I
gotta say, I have never met an X-ray tech who I've walked away from saying we couldn't be best friends. Like the way that phlebotomists and X-ray techs, ultrasound technicians as well, I'm like, should we hang out? Like, I just feel like so great personality can really hang, but there is like a way to do it. And then I think like if you look at like a day in my life nursing school, that is what's going to blow up. Like that's what people are going to want to watch and they're going to see that. But when you start incorporating the nursing school aspect into like letting the audience have opinions on it or ask questions or respond to that, or even not saying that you're having people come to you as like a primary source of information and saying these things or whatever, but it can then end up leading you to, you know, you're using that education and what you're learning in propelling your content forward. And socially, a lot of people that you're in school with will not jive with them. That won't sit right with them. And then also depending on your school also might not like it. So I will say in general, when you want to make content and you want to incorporate something that is an organization bigger than you, that can't be the only thing. A, can't be the only thing your content is relying on. And B, you need to do it in a way that it is people don't know where you are. Like it needs to be private enough that there are no way to connect the dots. It's not on your Instagram. It's not any of that stuff. Also, safety-wise, that's a big thing. Or you need to not include that part of it. And like, it's obviously not the same fucking thing. But like nowadays, you're allowed to talk about being in a sorority and film being in a sorority, whatever. But like, I got to the point where they were like, no, you can't talk about this anymore. You can't say that you can't do any of these things. You can't, wear letters on your Instagram. Like I couldn't do anything because it was not representing Kappa well. And I was like, this is crazy when everybody here is, not everybody. My big was lovely. When most of the people here are like so like just like awful, horrible, but like it was such a everybody policing each other and policing and all of that. And that giving up on a sorority, that wasn't what my content was about initially. So like that wasn't too hard. And also at the end of the day, like it's fucking stupid sorority they don't give a shit about now, except for Meghan Markle and I, Meghan Sussex and I being sisters. Actually, I think Markle was the sister. I think Sussex now, she's like, I don't even know who KKG is anymore. I said, girl, me neither. But it should just never, you don't ever want it to be a choice that you have to make. You know what I mean? Like, or a sacrifice.
Yeah, that makes perfect sense to me.
Yeah.
So I would say like, if you've been wanting to do this since you're 13, like what's stopping you? Just, what is it? What is it? The editing part? Are you afraid to put yourself out there?
They say they're shy.
Like too shy, but like a lot of influencers are shy. A lot of people there's a lot of people that I've met in my day who are totally different than the personality they put on the internet.
Mm-hmm. And some people who like, people that you all know who have people been like, oh my God, they are totally different online and offline. And I'm like, oh, they're pretty similar when I talk to them. And then I see them with other people and they're like, yeah, I fuck with you like that. And like, we're close like that. But like, these other people haven't seen that version of you. So they think that version of you only exists on the internet. And it's like, oh, it's very curated. But I think like a good niche would be not like day in my life going to nursing school or like studying with me. I just think those things also, unless you're in nursing school for the rest of your life, your content dries up because you're done.
I was going to say, like, what if you made stuff that has nothing, like no one knows that you're in nursing school. It has nothing to do with nursing.
Or being like, I'm currently in school and I'm like learning how to cook. Like this is me teaching you how to, and you don't have to, you can start by not including your face in videos. Like you can, and do stuff with like a voiceover where you're reading it.
Like the cooking would be good. It's like, I have such like a busy lifestyle. This is what I cook on the go.
Yeah. Packing my lunch for school. Like that kind of stuff I think is a great way to do it. But I think in general, also, you have to be wary about how you are how you are perceived on the internet when you are also letting people know that you are in the medical field, because your job is not insular. Like, you can come across any kind of patient or whatever, and so there will people in my opinion are entitled to have opinions on what you put out there and the content, whether they find it insensitive or they find it in poor taste. And some people who I might not agree with, like, think it's beneath, like, whatever, like, they can have negative opinions on that, but they feel more entitled to that because there's a likelihood that they would run into you in your profession.
Right.
So yeah.
Yeah, you'll be fine, but just do it.
Mm-hmm.
Do it.
Yeah.
Do it.
I
do
think
it. Do it.
Start a hobby and then film that hobby.
Yeah.
But making content can't really be a hobby unless you make it about you and your life, which I think in your case, while you're in school, is just a dicey choice to make.
All right. Well, we're going to take a break. When we get back, we'll get into some more.
You can make a niche fan account or something too.
Or you just like clip show.
Yeah.
Like,
Oh my God. You just
any medical
part
show.
67, The Good Doctor.
Yeah.
The way I feel like I've seen that whole goddamn fucking show. This is a trigger warning. This definitely talks about body image issues. We will be bleeping specific numbers and things like that. So, but just know that this is talking about unintentional weight loss, body image issues.
There are many ways to entice a potential new customer with flashy branding and calculated marketing strategies. But at the end of the day, the success of a business comes down to the ability to close the sale. And for businesses like Thrive Cosmetics, Allbirds, or Skims, it's what goes on behind the scenes, making selling, and for shoppers, buying, simple, that makes the difference. For them and for millions of businesses, that difference is made with Shopify. Businesses that want to grow, grow with Shopify. Because if your goal is growth, your commerce platform better be ready to sell wherever your customers are scrolling or strolling. And Shopify will make sure you're ready. On the web, in your store, in their feed, and everywhere in between. Nobody does selling better than Shopify. And with Shop Pay, they boost conversions up to 50%, meaning way less carts going abandoned and way more sales going. It's no wonder Shopify is home of the #1 checkout on the planet. Upgrade your business and get the same checkout Allbirds uses. Sign up for your $1 per month trial period at shopify.com/realm, all lowercase. Go to shopify.com/realm to upgrade your selling today. That's shopify.com/realm.
Bros love reality TV. Have you ever noticed your boyfriend or husband in the background while you're trying to wind down and enjoy The Housewives?
They linger in the back of the room and ask questions, offer their opinions, but when you ask them to take a seat and watch with you, suddenly they're not interested.
Well, here at Bros and Shows, we are tired of perpetuating that dudes don't love reality TV. Because guess what? We do. And it's time we erase the stigma that comes with it.
And we cover it all, from Real Housewives to The Bachelor, from Vanderpump Rules to The Traitors, and we're ready to give you our takes.
Bros and Shows, a podcast from the bros for everyone, for whoever wants to listen.
What's up, fellow TV watchers? It's Brian from The Core Podcast, where we cover all things Apple TV+. We are wrapping up our recaps of Emmy favorite Severance, but 2025 on Apple TV Plus is just getting started. In April and May, The Core is recapping Seth Rogen's new Hollywood satire, The Studio, and Jon Hamm's dark comedy, Your Friends and Neighbors. We'll also be recapping the first 2 seasons of Apple's sci-fi thriller, Foundation, heading into the 3rd season of that later this year. Search for The Core, all things Apple TV Plus, on Apple Podcasts, Spotify, and YouTube.
Talents without even trying. Since then, I have been steadily losing weight and at this point have lost a total of 4 pounds, again, without even trying. For a while, I didn't notice because I look at myself every day, and 2, because in the past, I have had issues with body dysmorphia, and I've tried to reach the point of body neutrality, although that has been difficult. The harder part is, because I was somewhat overweight before, losing this weight has made me look more quote-unquote healthy, but because my physical body still doesn't feel good, this has not been a fun change for me. I've also noticed myself being a lot more self-conscious about the things that I eat and worrying that the weight will come back just as suddenly as it left, especially because the weight loss was unintentional. I've also found myself being self-conscious about how people perceive me. It's obvious that people have noticed the weight loss, and the people who I know genuinely care for me and love me haven't brought it up unless I have. But it also makes me worry about how I was perceived within the beauty clinic before versus how I'm perceived now. I also don't like how I am perceiving myself. Before the weight loss, I knew that I wasn't at the healthiest weight I could be, but I was happy with the way that I looked. But now, looking back at those pictures, I don't like what I see, and I don't like that mindset either. I don't really know what I'm asking for advice on, and I will be talking to my therapist about this, but I would love to hear your thoughts. I love you so much, and thank you for your advice. Bye!
This is, I mean, yes, please talk to your therapist about this. This is, if your therapist doesn't have experience also with, and you know, this might not be a term you identify with at the current moment, but with eating disorders, like this is the body image part of, I think a lot of people view eating disorders as you are starving yourself or you are purging or you are binging. Those are the 3 things. And then from there, they view it with caveats of you look a certain way with each one of those things. And it's not true. People of all sizes can have eating disorders. And also, orthorexia is an eating disorder. Being too aware and being like nitpicking every aspect of whether it's the food you put in your body or the clothes, all of that, that is eating disorder. It doesn't have to be like, oh, well, I'm not acting upon. I'm like, those are actions. Those are decisions that you're doing subconsciously or consciously. It doesn't just have to be like the big 3 that you think of in that kind of a way.
And then that's where the body dysmorphia that you're feeling is
100%.
coming into.
Yeah. This is, I mean, I so deeply understand this. I went through this when I had mono. This was like really what I went through. That long COVID when I, started gaining the weight back and was like, okay, this is, I didn't really like how I looked before. I had lost weight that was, this is too much. This is not good. But then gaining the weight being like, oh, I actually kind of want to look like the way I did before, but then objectively being like, well, no, I don't. But I also understand in the sense that both of those things had health things tied to them. So I understand the feeling of knowing that it is out of your control, so you can't change it or stop it either way, but also feeling in the sense of, I'm not better from this thing yet, so why the fuck am I caring about how I look when I don't feel physically good? Like it feels really silly and trivial, and it's the beauty standard. Like that's the part that's coming in there. It's not like a personal failure of yours by any means. But I think like it has to be tied to your health. Like you cannot separate them in the fact that like the weight loss is tied to poor health. That, and like it's not a separate entity. It is the exact same thing. And so in the same way that you approach talking about like your health things or whatever, like that, like with your doctor, you should talk about your weight with your doctor. You should talk about those things. It shouldn't be in a separate entity where it's, just staring at yourself in the mirror, and this is not a medical setting. Like I think the best you can do to separate acknowledging that the current body that you are in is a result of something that is like not beneficial and it is not good. And I also think in general, what would be helpful for a lot of people, if they read up on what malnutrition does to your body over periods of time. It is not a very long time. I know people who suffered with eating disorders in like middle school to high school for like 4 years. And these people have pacemakers. They have long-term health problems. They will not
Their teeth are not there. They've had to get
Mhm.
dentures, like not just pacemakers, like a lot of your body organs do not work. Yes,
Osteoporosis.
osteoporosis is a big one. Your organs do not work properly. Your skin might be extra dry. Like
yeah. And it doesn't, it's not like, I don't want to be like too scary. Like it doesn't bounce back. Once you reach a certain point of it for an extended period of time, like it does irreversible damage to your body. And it feels like for the beauty standard, for a lot of the times when you're sick, it feels like the only, and this is not correct, it's not a healthy way to think about it, but like that is what, the world has taught us, that the only positive side when people are like, oh, I'm just one stomach flew away from my goal weight. It's like tying weight loss as the only benefit to poor health, when weight loss is poor health in that way. So I would be also really cautious about like the doctors that you talk to about this.
Yeah.
Because some doctors,
They
a lot of
applaud you.
doctors, yeah.
And they also will say that some of the reason that you're experiencing the health problems that you're currently going through is because of your weight.
Yeah.
And that's not necessarily
No.
true.
And like, I don't know how tall you are or what your build is or where you fall on the not relevant archaic BMI scale that they still calculate with. But I will say that like I have not had doctors when I have been underweight, it never bothered them.
No. Like I had lost a significant amount of weight like in my mid-20s, and I look back on pictures of myself and I'm like, I don't look good, but everybody around me was telling me that I did. And even now, like I've said, like, why didn't y'all tell me that I did not look good? And they're like, we thought you looked great. And a doctor never said anything like, hey, like, this is too much. You're doing too much. No one ever did. They applauded me for it. So you have to be very careful when you're talking to your healthcare providers.
Yeah. And anyone who you talk to about that, because like there are some people who look at people who are well into adult age, deep eating disorder and be like, oh, dream body, dream life. And
yeah,
I'm like,
that's what people were saying to me.
no, like, and I can look at that person going, I don't want to look like that when I'm that age. They look miserable.
Yep.
They look absolutely miserable. This is not an effortless life. This is so much obsession has gone into this and like a deep unhappiness.
Yeah.
And I don't want that. But I think like it's you stopping, like not looking at yourself in the mirror, in that, like not doing that, not looking at full body in the mirror, not taking pictures of full body, like just removing all of that from there and asking when you go to the doctor, getting weighed with your back to the scale and saying, I don't want to see what this is. And then, really talking about this of being like, I don't like how my mindset about this is shifting. Because like Melissa said, they'll be like, oh, well, losing weight will help you with these problems and help you feel like it's not that. And as much as I'm saying you have to tie your weight to your health right now, your weight is not, that's like very specific for this call. I don't want anyone else to think like, oh, you can see how healthy I am based on my weight. No, but this person is saying they're currently not healthy.
They're experiencing a lot of health problems right
and
now.
This is the side effect.
And this is a side effect, and they don't want to feel good about this being the side effect.
But right now, tying those things together for you, well, also then with your, like in your mindset when you like, so like this is something you work on with medical professionals. This is not something that like you dwell on by yourself, you obsess on by yourself, like, because this is out of your hands. And then, but at the same time, treating this as a very important issue with your therapist. So like it's hand in hand with your medical doctor about like, this is a side effect and this is becoming an additional medical issue. And it's becoming an additional physical medical issue and an additional mental medical health issue. And yeah, I'm so glad you like can recognize this in yourself. this is like, if anybody feels similarly to this, like get help for this, like when you can. Body image issues, food issues are like so deeply prevalent and so deeply normalized in our society that like, if you can recognize this early on and nip it in the bud, not only will it benefit you, it will benefit the other people in your life. It'll benefit if you have a partner later down the road, or maybe you do at this point, or if you have kids or anything. Like, it is just like, I can't think of a woman on my specific side of the family who didn't have body image issues. So if it helps you to also think about this as being bigger than you, and as a society, this is like a massive fucking issue that it will only cause you more health problems. So when you get healed from this and you get better from the health problems you're dealing with, you don't want to transference and just replace this for another health problem that is like really fucking deadly. Like, and if you don't die from it, and like the rates of dying are astronomical, and people always want to talk about obesity, and I'm like, do you understand how many more people die from eating disorders? Like, it's fucking crazy. But beyond that, people who do not die for, again, a prolonged process of malnutrition, the effects it has on your physical body long term that you will live with, it's a lot. And you right now have like the power, and you have the wherewithal to recognize this shift in you that you don't like. And lean on your friends. Sometimes I think distraction's the best thing, of just being like, I know my friends aren't going to ask me about it. I know they're not going to talk to me about it. I know I need to eat, and I'm going to ask them to pick a restaurant and let's go. And I know they're not going to bother me about it. And then we're going to go see a movie, and we're going to do that. And like, we're not going to talk about it at all, but it's going to get me out of the house, and I'm going to move my full length mirror, and it's not going to be in my apartment anymore. And like, it might feel extreme, but like, I promise you, your future self will thank you. This shit, like, I do wish people viewed this, like, eating disorders as they do with like opiates. Like, when people are like, oh, 1 week on an oxy and like you can get hooked. One stomach flu and losing some weight can completely shift everything.
Yeah.
So,
and even like with how I'm training now, I told Megan, like, if I start looking a certain way, can you please let me know? So then I can reverse that. Because
exactly like they said, like, you're looking at yourself in the mirror every day. So like, it's hard to necessarily know. And then you get to a point where when it clicks, it's more of a drastic spot. Right. And then you're like, something's up.
Yep.
Good or bad? Do I like it? Do I not? Also, if you have clothes that are way too big on you, put those in a section of the like. Don't be wearing things that are affirming of weight loss. Yeah. Like, wear things that fit you. I'm not saying go out and buy things and then be like, oh, I want to wear these forever. But like, there is also an aspect of people wearing a lot of like feeling very small in their clothes, and that's a feeling that they want. But just being really conscious of the outcomes of this. And like, you're catching yourself before it is a very slippery slope. And I think with like finding a right doctor to talk about this. And if that doctor is not the right doctor, find another doctor who can do your medical health issue as well as this.
Yeah.
See if your insurance covers meeting with a nutritionist. Vast majority
most of them do. A lot of like your insurance is just included in. A lot of people don't know that. Like, it's just part of it.
But you make sure they're in your network.
Yeah. All right, we're going to take another break. When we get back, we'll get into some more.
I'm Ann Foster, host of the feminist women's history comedy podcast, Vulgar History, and every week I share the saga of a woman from history whose story you probably didn't already know and you will never forget after you hear it. Sometimes we'll re-examine well-known people like Cleopatra or Pocahontas, sharing the truth behind their legends. Sometimes we look at the scandalous women you'll never find in a history textbook. If you can hear my cat purring, she is often on the podcast as well. Listen to Vulgar History wherever you get your podcasts.
I'm Amy Nicholson, the film critic for the LA Times.
And I'm Paul Scheer, an actor, writer, and director. You might know me from The League, Veep, or my non-eligible for Academy Award role in Twisters.
We come together to host Unspooled, a podcast where we talk about good movies, critical hits,
fan favorites, must-sees, and in case you missed them.
We're talking Parasite to Home Alone.
From Grease to The Dark Knight.
So if you love movies like we do, come along on our cinematic adventure.
Listen to Unspooled wherever you get your podcasts.
And don't forget to hit the follow button.
In humanity's search for other worlds, we found something unexpected.
It's a massive collection of tiny pocket realities, and each one is a story.
But when we explored those stories, things didn't go as planned.
Mr. Darcy?
I am Mr. Sherlock Holmes.
Ah, humbug.
What happens when classic stories go wrong? I go in to fix them.
I am Dracula, and I bid you welcome.
Subscribe and listen to Muse, the latest audio drama from Dayton Writers Movement and Realm.
I, 24, she, her, am a photographer, and my mom's friend offered me an unpaid stills photographer position on a movie set that they're producing. Damn. The job would require me to put all my paid work on hold for a month and live on a remote ranch where the film is being shot. The producers and directors have been vague about the job details, and I recently found out I wouldn't have any rights to the photos I take. Yeah. That means I can't use them for my portfolio, post them, or use them to promote my work in any way. When I brought this up, they said it's normal in the film industry, and they have others willing to work for free if I'm not interested. While I get the value of gaining experience, this just doesn't sit right. As a photographer, I know how common unpaid jobs are, but there's usually some other kind of incentive, like growing my portfolio. This just doesn't feel fair. They argue that since I'd be credited in the film, that's enough incentive. Lol. For context, this film isn't huge, clearly. Some of the actors and crew have worked on bigger projects, but it's not a Hollywood blockbuster. They'd cover my food and stay at the ranch and give me $500 for travel expenses, but not any actual payment. I'd be working 12 hours a day, 6 days a week. Part of me feels bad for even asking for more compensation or rights to my work, but I'm new to the film industry. I usually do portrait and wildlife photography. So is this normal in the film industry? Should I feel taken advantage of? Am I passing up a good opportunity by turning it down? Would I be wrong for asking for more?
No, this is not normal.
No, this isn't a movie.
This one, still photographers are usually not on set all day. They're there like
2 days max.
Like 2 days max, and not the whole day. Like
are you
4 hours maybe?
But are you doing behind the scenes stills, or are you doing like
the
key
character
art stills?
Right. Also, people don't work for free, and if they are working for free, it's on like a student film, and even then you get the photos to be part of your portfolio. There's a change.
Mm-hmm.
There's if you're working for free, then you get these photos for your portfolio. If you're not working for free, then they have all the rights to it. This is not normal. They're taking advantage of you, and you should have had a contract or a deal memo in place before you even agree to this. It needs to be in writing, and they're taking advantage of you. Do not do this. Them paying for you to travel and to stay there is not.
This is illegal.
It's not. That is not something. That's not compensation. They need somebody there, so therefore they should be paid. You should not be working 6 days a week either.
No, this is fundamentally illegal.
This is very illegal. I don't know if there's any union. If the actors have worked on things before, then it's SAG. They're not working 6 days a week.
No.
They're probably rotating actors out, but still, like, this is not how things are done at all.
No. And also, I can't stress enough how not common, yes, wanting to use the photos for your reels, your portfolio. I don't know what they're looking for you to do. Depending on, there's only... Would this even work in your portfolio? Like BTS photography is a lot of the times is like it's a lot of the times people can get screenshot stills from it, and like there's not a lot of like
craftsmanship that goes into BTS photography.
But also because they only let you be there for like two hours on 1 or 2 days max. And so, like, it's not that I'm saying that those photographers are not talented. It's just like they're not asked to be talented. They're like literally just asked to like snap these photos, use them in teasers, released, press release, whatever. But I also do think at the same time, like, I also don't know. I assume you're doing key art too, because I don't know why such a small movie would want to invest in behind. It's not even invest, but like You're not getting a per diem. Like, that's not a thing.
This is what you should be doing. Tell them to screw themselves. Like, fuck you. Reach out to the student, to the university schools around you and ask them, can you come do still photography on their sets? It's not going to be paid, but you know it's going to be legitimate. You're going to get the credit. You're going to get the photos for your portfolio. And the thing is you want to get in with these people when they're young, because when they start moving up the ladder, then they'll bring you with them. So if you're going to do free work, this is the type of free, and you're not going to be there all day. You're going to be there for 2 or 3 hours. This is bullshit.
Yeah. I also just think that, like, is this a sect you want to get into? Because, like, this is like, is this the kind of photography you are interested in? Because, like, it is a very, very, very different kind of photography. Like, and so if you're interested in it, then, like, cool. But this is an insane ask for a photographer. Also, traveling fees is not a thing.
No.
They cover your travel. They don't give you money for you to then book your own travel. But then also, like, you would get a per diem. If you're on location, you're on set. And, you know, I think the thing I would do, but I've been in this longer. And if you don't feel comfortable, that's understandable. But I would do it. I would just, you know, if they say it's SAG ultra low budget agreement, you know, check it out.
But if
report
it. Union 600, I think, cinematography, which still photography falls under, report them.
Yeah, but like, if you're looking at the project in general, and if it's like, well, I don't want to make a fuss or whatever. It is so much less about you making a fuss and it coming back to you or whatever than doing it for people who, and I will always come at it from like an actor perspective, because like crew jobs are paid far less than actors a lot of the time. There's more consistency with work in a crew job than is with an acting job. There are a lot of actors who are putting themselves in incredibly unsafe situations, having no idea because they're trusting their agents, and they are so not important to their agents that their agents aren't even looking at these emails. An assistant is, and then they're going on location in this way, and it's just not safe.
No,
it's just like fundamentally not safe. And so if you find out that, if you could see that this is saying that they are with a union, report them and do not work there, because if you get caught working on a non-union set while knowing it is non-union, and like it is if you got caught working on a union set while it is not abiding by union rules, knowing that it was, and like you are turning a blind eye, you will not have the career in this.
Yeah.
They do not take that lightly.
Yeah.
And they it's fair, really shouldn't. But you said that this is your mom's friend. On a movie set that they're producing. Is she producing it?
Yeah. And they're on some bullshit. Like, as a producer, this pisses me off so much. They're taking advantage of you. Don't let them do this. And them saying, oh, we have numerous other people signed up. Okay, hire them. I want to see who's working all these hours for free. Hire them.
Yeah.
They're really trying to take advantage of your naivety, and I appreciate you coming to us. Like I said, go work on some student films.
Yeah.
And they probably will pay you a fee.
You'll at least get lunch.
Yeah.
And $50. Also, I really don't, remote ranch, to me, there's like, I think a lot of people don't view this in like, well, maybe now that some things have been more publicized, but like, if they're skimping on this, I don't think they'll have stunt doubles. If they're on a ranch, I'm thinking that there's going to be machinery used, whether that's trucks equipment, whether it's driving transpo, or whether that's guns or whatever. A lot of people now know about the Rust shooting. Like there are no checks and balances here. The safety precautions are not being taken, and that jeopardizes your safety being on set, or you will witness something horrible. And horrible accidents happen on fucking run union sets, but they are there because even with all the things in place, freak accidents can happen. When you don't have those things in place, it just becomes the norm. You're doing things you wouldn't be comfortable with, and it is just like, it's just so recklessly fucking dangerous. And yeah, and you're not like they don't even need these photos. I'm just like sketched out because they don't need these photos. So why do they want you to be on a remote ranch? Like,
If this is so low budget, then they
would never do this.
They would just have the producer taking pictures.
Well, they're not doing a press, like, you're not going to be asked for multiple different varying photos from press releases. You can use the same photo for a press release unless it's like some of like the big 5 outlets and we want an exclusive photo. If it's not going to get that, this to me, it just feels like nefarious.
It is nefarious.
And like,
walk away.
Yeah. Report it.
And if they're your mom's friend, they fucking know better.
And yeah, there's no way they've produced anything before, or they have. And
and it's been bad.
And even like, quote unquote, Hollywood things or like things that are bigger. Like, I've turned down auditions before where it's, hey, this is someone's first time film. It's an indie, which I have no issue with. And I look and every single person listed is a man. And I look at them and I see Getty photo images of them with some men in Hollywood that I am like, that person has about 24 Me Too allegations. And I'm the only woman who is auditioned. Like, there's only one female role in this. Mm-hmm. And there's things of sexual nature in here. There's, a simulated sex scene. And there's a lot of blood and gore and like violence. And if I booked this, I'm shooting on location with a bunch of older men who I've never met before. And that's just like, unfortunately, something that like I am able to like make that call and like have like the understanding of being like, that's not safe. And I can turn, and like, not that I booked it, but like, I can turn down this audition. Mm-hmm. Even though I'm much more likely to book that than the Powerpuff Girls pilot. But like, there are people who they don't have the experience, or they don't have the team or the agent like that tell them that like, yeah, if you don't feel comfortable, don't do it.
Yep. So we're telling you, don't do this.
Also, send us a message about what this is called and the productions, like all of the info you have. Yeah. And if you don't want to report it, I'm happy to report it.
Me too. And then also, like, if you want an email template to reach out to schools, ask and I'll send you a template, because that's what I did. Like, even tomorrow I'm having lunch with a friend that is the head of development for a studio. We met on a student film. Like, yeah.
And there's so many ways you can get in. If this is not like your big passion, like, so for my movie, I wanted our BTS on-set photographer to like have the images be not look like typical BTS photos. And I was like, I want us to be able to use them on our socials to promote like now and when the movie's coming out. Like, I want it to be fun. I want it to look like another friend took the photos. I want it to feel comfortable. And I went on this whole spiel and like made a whole list. I think I included like Olivia B, who's a photographer that I really love, on like just a mood board of like this kind of style. And from there, someone who worked at like Lionsgate was like, oh, I think it might have been the social. I can't remember who it was specifically from the team, which one of the girls, but it was like my roommate. She is a great photographer. I think she would totally fit. She shows up. Taylor Krause, love her. She took my engagement photos. She took our podcast photo. Like, yep. I met Taylor through that. Taylor was not doing BTS like photography for like film and TV. Like, this is her first experience doing anything like that. And she was recommended because she was quite literally someone who worked there's a roommate. And she was like, I never would have thought of suggesting her for this job until Megan said what she wanted in this kind of photography. So stay true to your style too. Like, if this is not what you're interested in, like for your future, don't totally shift this and change this to mold to that. If your goal is National Geographic, like, you know what I mean? Like, yeah. Don't shift that, because I didn't ask Taylor to compromise her style. Mm-hmm. This is crazy. Please tell us what production this is.
Get ready for Netflix's gripping new medical drama, Pulse. Set in a cutting-edge Miami trauma center, third-year resident Dr. Danny Sims is unexpectedly thrust into a promotion when beloved Chief Resident Dr. Xander Phillips gets suspended. Then, with the emotional and physical stakes at their highest, a storm will push the hospital and its residents to their limits. Witness how life can change in a heartbeat when you're operating under pressure. Watch Pulse, only on Netflix.
This episode is brought to you by LifeLock. It's tax season, and we're all a bit tired of numbers. But here's one you need to hear. $16.5 billion. That's how much the IRS flagged for possible identity fraud last year. Now here's a good number. 100 million. That's how many data points LifeLock monitors every second. If your identity is stolen, they'll fix it. Guaranteed. Save up to 40% your first year at LifeLock.com/podcast. Terms apply.
From the podcast that brought you to each of the last lesbian bars in the country and back in time through the sapphic history that shaped them comes a brand new season of cruising beyond the bars. This is your host, Sarah Gabrielli, and I've spent the past year interviewing history-making lesbians and queer folks about all kinds of queer spaces, from bookstores to farms to line dancing and much more. You can listen to Cruising on Apple Podcasts, Spotify, or wherever you get your podcasts. New episodes air every other Tuesday starting February 4th.
Hi, Meghan and Melisa. I'm a long-time listener and first-time caller. I'm writing to or calling to ask for advice on how to not feel a bit hopeless when I can't do as much in life as I'd like. I've been diagnosed with major depressive disorder and generalized anxiety when I was 13, and I've been riding that roller coaster since. I'm in active therapy, so getting help for it, and it's been really, really helpful. For the last 3 years, I have also felt a decline in my physical health. As an example, I get frequently ill. Even under normal circumstances, I often get dizzy and lightheaded, and I have to make sure that I'm careful with how much physical activity I do and that I eat and drink enough. I'm finding it difficult to come to terms with often not having the physical or mental energy to do activities I'd like to do or as frequently as I'd like to do. I've had to cancel hangouts when I'm ill. I'm trying to build a fitness habits, but when I go into a low point with depression, it's difficult. I joined a creative writing course as I would like to pursue that, but I have to keep missing classes because of my health. I'm trying to get some doctor's appointments and address the health issues, but it can take a while, especially with the health system in UK where I live being extremely underfunded. I know, Meghan, that you've talked before about mental health problems you've faced and also chronic illness and long COVID. And I think Melissa mentioned having asthma, which I imagine impacts physical activity. Do you have any tips on how to come to terms with sometimes your body not being able to do as much as other people's or as much as you would like to, or having less mental energy, and finding joy in life with these circumstances? Just a bit more about myself. I live in London on my own, and I usually work from home, so I can work, but also I get less social contact because of that. I'm currently single, and I'm also trying to date, which takes a lot of energy out of me. I'm a Leo. Hey, Meghan. And I spend a lot of time at home with at-home hobbies like reading, cooking, and listening to podcasts. I also have a dog who I absolutely adore, and I am kind of forced to go on daily walks. I have a lot of local and international friends. However, I feel like all of those relationships have also been negatively impacted because of all of these problems. And I think I have a little bit more time, and just to say, I have been listening literally from when you posted videos on YouTube, and Meghan and Melissa wasn't even on camera, and Meghan had guests every time. So this is a really cool day. Thank you.
She got to see the Melissa is a hottie reveal. The internet loved that day. They were like, "Oh, she's gorgeous. Why the fuck haven't we seen her this whole time?"
You know, I like to be a little tease sometimes.
Yeah, I was gonna say, everybody's like, "Meghan, you're so rude." I was like, if you know anything about Melissa, she loves a grand entrance. She loves a mislead. Wow, I deeply understand and relate to this. Your specific health, I very much understand those ones. This is tough. I could have called in with this at any time in the last, let's not even talk about how many fucking years this has been. Too long. Don't say it. Too long. Too long. It's too long. Do your Anthony Mackie face. Yeah, suck it back in. Take it back in, Mr. Mackie. So I really understand this. And it sucks. Point blank. It fucking sucks. And it is definitely, for me, an ebb and flow when figuring out, and like I've got different health stuff or additional health stuff now that I'm trying to figure out. But getting comfortable with a new normal for me is routine. So like planning things the day, but making sure I'm doing X, Y, and Z things. And also we have a thing with Mott's and I where I'm like, we have to leave the house we have to be out of the house on Saturday and Sunday. Like on the weekends when we have to do that. And then like weekdays, if we want to go see a movie, we have to do that. But like even sometimes if it's like, oh, it's cheaper or easier to do this from home, we have to go out and do this. Mm-hmm. The physical exercise, that stuff, that is for me has been like the hardest one to deal with because I'm a natural, I have the same ADHD as elementary school boys. I have a very like physically active going through my day, not just exercising, but like I'm a mover. And so getting exhausted from things that like I don't view as physically strenuous, that has been like very, very hard. But when I took away the aspect of like that right now is my workout, like cleaning my room and doing those things and viewing them not as like, oh, I wasn't physically active today, but it's like, if my body's treating this as physically active, then I need to mentally acknowledge that this is physically active. You live in London, so my other piece of advice is not going to be helpful for you. Maybe you have a balcony. I have found gardening and doing outside stuff. And you said you have a dog because you don't walk a cat. You take your dog on walks. Yeah, I guess you could. Freak. But doing things like that, like outside, I think is like really helpful. But the friendship stuff is hard. I think like if you have friends who are also, you know, Melissa's got asthma. Like if there are people who are also like COVID conscious and like flu season, RSV, like who are also conscious about whether it's their own health is like the initiator or they're just also worried about your health. I need friends like that where I am not seeing them once every 3 months and they are seeing everybody else 4 days a week. Mm-hmm. Do you know what I mean? Like I need people who are like at this doing the same thing that I am, that I'm not just getting included every 5 times of hanging out and I'm feeling like very left out because a whole group is moving on without me. And like that can be a group of your friends, but like you need to have 1 or 2 friends who are living life more parallelly to you, like a parallel experience in the sense of, you know, whether they're busier with work or they just aren't going out because they have kids, like something where it's not like I'm missing out on going out to the bars every night with a happy hour. Mm-hmm. There just needs to be less FOMO. And it doesn't mean you have to cut those friends out entirely. I just think it's like seeking out friendships and relationships in addition to those ones.
Yeah. For me, before I got my inhaler, when we would go to workout classes, I would be so exhausted. Mm-hmm. Like I wouldn't be able to get through my workouts. Mm-hmm. I would have to stop for a minute.
And your face would be red for like 2 hours afterwards.
And then like getting treated, still I have to be careful. So like I split my workouts. I do my cardio my cardio in the morning and my weightlifting at night because I can't do them all together. Also, the weights that I have in my Apple Watch tell me,
really smart.
And you need to get an Apple Watch.
I know,
tell me,
so ugly.
I know, but just wear them. How often are you out?
No, but I don't like looking at it, even when I'm at home.
Put sleeves on. You usually have a sweatshirt. Are you usually wearing that bracelet?
Yes. I wear these ones all the time. I never take the little ones off.
Okay, well, switch hands. That arm has nothing on it.
I know.
You can get bands, different bands, get different cases, but that tells me if the weight program that I use connects directly to my phone and the weights are electronic. And so it lets me know if I'm doing way too much and then I have to stop. It's like we're not continuing this. It literally pauses the workout and won't let me finish. But also in the way that you talked about like cleaning up and stuff, if I'm cleaning my house, that's my workout for the day.
Mm-hmm.
I also take lots of breaks when I'm doing it because I do get winded just doing everyday normal things. And the friend thing also helps because we're in the same boat.
Yeah.
It's like the same with like, if you don't drink a lot, having friends that also don't drink a lot.
It's exactly the same thing.
Just finding friends that want to do the same types of things that you want to do and when you want to do them. And yeah, having friends with kids is also
and like
great.
Not to be like, your friends could be super supportive or whatever, but like I will say that some of the best things is like having like we've become friends with like our neighbors. Moving was, I can't even stress how it was expensive, and that's not like a go-to for anyone. But if it is possible, not living in the same place where I have all these memories of being like very healthy, very agile and work, like having a place where like this is my starting when I move in there.
Mm-hmm.
That is like super helpful. And then the same thing of like, you know, having, if you're friends, it's only like you've known them forever. That's great. But like having ones who are, if they're not in the same boat as you, but meeting people who this is how they meet you. Mm-hmm. This is the level of where you're at and where they meet you. Because even if they're not doing it, sometimes we can feel like people are, you know, looking at us in a way that they're like, oh, I wish that you just want it to be like, this is where I'm at right now. And I have to be okay with this. And sometimes being okay with it is just not acknowledging, like not doing that and like knowing my own limitations, but having that be the only normal these other people who I'm hanging out with know of me. Mm-hmm. Like it's not like I'm having to modify this thing that we've done a bajillion times before, because we can assign judgment to people who are not passing judgment on us. But yeah, I have been trying to get into going on walks like around our neighborhood, and like Mats and I will do it, and like I've been doing a couple like solo walks. And yesterday I was like gearing up to get one, and I like to go on one. Sun was going down. It was like the perfect time, and I was like, okay. And I just like was not feeling like totally great, and I was like, you know what? I haven't had a beta blocker. I'll pop one of those, see my heart rate. I check my heart rate. My heart rate's like 145, and my oxygen is like 94, 93. And I was like, okay. And I took one. I was like, I'll just wait till it kicks in and I'll feel better. And it kicks in. And then right now, the most it can get me down to like is 80 to 85, which is still not great. And I still felt horrible. And I was like, I'm just going to go. And then I was just sitting there and I was like, no, there's no reason. There's no benefit. I'm holding myself to a standard of me when I was healthy, that I was going to feel bad if I didn't go on this workout. But if I feel bad right now, if I take this walk around the block, I will not only feel worse afterwards physically, I'll feel worse tomorrow. Mm-hmm. And then mentally, I'll be really mad at myself. Yeah. This isn't going to give me this shame, punishment, like accountability thing that we have, like that a lot of people have in the fitness and exercise culture in able-bodied, healthy people. That is so wildly detrimental to like progress and health when you are dealing with like a chronic illness or any sort of thing like that. So removing those expectations from you. And while I don't have an Apple Watch, my heart rate monitor is wildly helpful, because sometimes you feel bad. And I think a lot of people think they know what like a racing heart feels like, but like, it's not like dun dun dun, like pitter pat. Like sometimes it feels like you're having a heart attack. Sometimes it feels like sometimes it feels like you're gonna throw up. Like it's just like something feels wrong, and that's why a lot of times people initially think it's just anxiety, it's whatever. But like seeing
or indigestion,
yeah,
it's like no.
When I had my heart rate monitor, and when I like got the results back, the validation that I felt of being like, oh, I pressed this because it felt high, and I was at 175. That is too high. And like knowing that it's not just like, oh, this is me feeling bad or feeling out of shape or whatever. And that was also helpful, having a doctor be like, this is not a spike, that going from a resting heart rate of this to this is not a sign of being out of shape. That's your resting heart rate would be higher. This is not a sign of anything like that. This is just, you have to take it easy.
Yeah.
So seeing something visual like that.
Yeah.
And I also think if your health is getting worse, the healthcare system here also very much sucks. But, if you are able and or if you have someone who can help you out, who can pay for a private help, like those things, just because, if you're having like scary, like I can't stress enough that like that's, even though I made a comment being like, oh, this sounds like long COVID. I, had someone in my life who were not, well, I won't give much. Someone who I know who had reached out to me, and I know them personally for most of my life. And they thought they were dealing with long COVID, similar symptoms, and it was not. And I was like, oh, that definitely does sound similar. Like, I would definitely go to the doctor. They went to the doctor. It was not that. And like, I'm so glad that they went when they did. But I think with long COVID, a lot of us, so many fucking people have long COVID. Like it's widespread. But I think because of that, a lot of time people are like, oh, well, there's no use going to a doctor. Doctors can't be helpful with that. It has an overlap of other things that need treatment a lot quicker.
Mm-hmm.
Or not need treatment a lot quicker, but like they have ready available treatment for it a lot quicker. And it's something that has, it's just not the same.
And also it's good to have it monitored, to have an actual like starting point of this is where I am in case it does get better. Or you can also see if it gets worse.
Yeah. Yeah. But finding a cardiologist, pulmonologist, like the heart and the lungs are deep. If you're having like getting out of breath or whatever, there are so many things that could be. And if it's progressing worse, don't downplay your symptoms.
Yep. All right. That is our episode.
We hope you all enjoyed. As always, you can watch the video version over on Patreon. You can also listen ad-free there, and we do live streams twice a month. Very fun. Meet new people. Hang out with us.
Also follow us on TikTok. But stay tuned. We've got new merch coming.
Oh, yeah.
Join us tomorrow for Fisting Friday, Monday for But Am I Wrong, Tuesday for See You Next Tuesday, Wednesday, that is your catch-up day. And then we'll be back here on Thursday for Don't Blame Me. Bye.
Bye.
And me, Melissa D. Montz, plus Diamond Imprint Productions. Production assistance by Melanie D. Watson.
Let's clear this up right now. Bros love reality TV. You may think it's all sports all the time, but have you ever noticed your boyfriend or husband in the background while you're trying to wind down and enjoy the Housewives?
Oh, I know the type. They linger in the back of the room and ask questions, offer their opinions, but when you ask them to take a seat and watch with you, suddenly they're not interested.
Well, here at Bros and Shows, we are tired of perpetuating that dudes don't love reality TV, because guess what? We do, and it's time we erase the stigma that comes with it.
And we cover it all, from Real Housewives to The Bachelor, from Vanderpump Rules to The Traitors, and we're ready to give you our takes. We aren't here to step on any toes, we just want to join the conversation.
Bros and Shows, a podcast from the bros for everyone, for whoever wants to listen.
Let's hang out.
I'm Ellie. And I'm Lee, and we're the co-hosts of Let's Hang Out, a show about LGBTQ representation in the media, because representation matters. Come hang out with us to talk about all of the characters that should have been gay.
Because every movie or TV show would be better if it was gay.
Listen to us interview your favorite LGBTQ actors and creators.
Elise Bauman from Carmilla.
It just reminds me of like every time a queer woman becomes single, there's like this high-pitched siren that goes out that like only other queer women can hear, and they're like, what was that? Like, did I just hear the bat signal? Is a queer woman single again?
So binge on Let's Hang Out wherever you listen to podcasts, and hang out with us every Monday for your weekly LGBTQ fix.
I'm Ellie.
And I'm Lee.
And let's hang out again soon.
Let's hang out.
Do you love Disney? Do you love top 10 lists? Then you are going to love our hit podcast, Disney Countdown. I'm Megan, the Magical Millennial.
And I'm the Dapper Danielle.
On every episode of our fun and family-friendly show, we count down our top 10 lists of all things Disney. The parks, the movies, the music, the food, the lore. There is nothing we don't cover on our show.
We are famous for rabbit holes, Disney-themed games, and fun facts you didn't know you needed.
I had Danielle and Megan record some answers to seemingly meaningless questions. I asked Danielle what insect song is typically higher pitched in hotter temperatures and lower pitched in cooler temperatures.
You got this.
No, I didn't.
Don't believe that. About a wish coming true? Well, I didn't either. Of course, I'm just a
cicada. I'm crying. I'm so sorry,
You win that one.
So if you're looking for a healthy dose of Disney magic, check out Disney Countdown wherever you get your podcasts.